and welcome to the Nerd Age Podcast. This is a show where we talk about everything nerdy. My name is Jonah, and I'm here with Mick.
Hey.
And Josh.
What's up?
Hey, we are going to jump right in to our Deadpool and Wolverine review. We're going to start with non-spoiler, give our rating of it, and then we're going to jump into spoilers. So you've been warned. If you have not watched it, go watch it, come back. If you don't care, just hear us talk about it.
Hang out for a little bit.
Josh, Mick, and I went and watched it on Friday, opening day.
It was a pleasant opening day experience, actually.
Dude, I was nervous.
Hey,
I was so nervous.
The theater was packed. This movie made a ton of money. This
Yeah.
movie was insane. I think it crossed over 200 million already. Like
I
in
think
the opening weekend,
worldwide, it was like 480
it's
something.
insane for a rated R movie. It's like the highest grossing, crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the first thing. When we sat down, we looked around, we saw all the idiots around
All the
us,
potential.
and we were like, "Is this going to be the worst experience of our lives?" Pleasantly surprised. There was one guy that loved one joke in particular, and it isn't really a spoiler because they show it in the trailer, but the 20th Century Fox logo is there, and they're fighting, and Deadpool gets knocked into it, and the dude
Loved it, dude.
He was
Funniest thing he's ever seen.
It was great.
He was the only one that was...
Yeah, he was doing it laughing like, there's the 20th Century Fox logo.
It was the first time he'd seen it.
I guess
probably.
there's something to be said about not being spoiled by watching trailers.
dude. Hey,
That could have been us.
we could have been laughing it up with him, dude.
Let's jump into non-spoilers here. I'll go first. I enjoyed this movie. I think it's one of those movies that it's enhanced by watching with other people because of the reactions.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really cool cameos in this that obviously you don't want to get spoiled because if you know what's going to happen, it kind of ruins it.
Yeah.
I feel like this movie's not going to be that rewatchable. My initial thoughts is once you know what's in it, once all the surprises are gone, it's kind of like, well, that was cool. The action's really good. I like the action. Where my complaint is with Marvel movies is I think the humor's over the top. Deadpool's a little different because it's breaking the fourth
That's the
wall.
point.
It's meant to be that way. So
Yeah.
I can get along with like jokes every 5 seconds, undermining certain things because I know that's what it's going to be. So in that regards, it works good. I felt like it was pretty funny. There were some jokes that didn't hit for me, but mostly it did. If you don't like gore and you don't like raunchy humor, this isn't your movie. Don't take the kids to it.
No.
What?
But I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I thought it was a lot of fun. Funny, action was good, like I said. There's a lot of plot holes in it to me, especially fitting into the MCU. But the reality is if you don't think about that stuff and you're just there for the ride, and I think Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman are both perfect for those roles that they play.
Yeah.
And they just do a really good job playing off each other. There is some heart in it too. There's some moments that I'm like, oh, that felt heartfelt, but at the same time, it's kind of like few and far between with all the humor and all that kind of stuff. But I like this movie. I thought it was good. I think it's one of the better Marvel movies that have come out in recent years. I don't think they saved the MCU, but they didn't have to. I just think it was a winner, like a pleasing movie, pleased the fans. There's a lot of comic book references. If you like Deadpool,
like that sort of
X-Men,
thing.
that kind of stuff, like you're gonna enjoy the references they make. So I liked it.
I think they should have cast this movie as Doctor Doom because I think that this is what Marvel needed. Not representation. Yeah, I really enjoy this movie. Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, like you said, they're perfect for the roles. It was really cool seeing Hugh Jackman back. Gonna play till he's 90. The action was good. Like you said, the heartfelt moments. I think it was like the perfect amount mixed with the humor, and I think each Deadpool movie has a good amount of heartfelt moments that aren't undercut and they don't feel out of place, which is crazy to say because the movie is all three movies are insane.
Yeah.
And they're just all over the place with their comedy and fourth wall breaking, and yet they still fit in those moments. So I really enjoyed that with this movie, especially. It was really everything that I thought it would be. There wasn't really anything that I was missing from my predictions or anything. So I thought it was great. I do disagree, though. I think it's definitely rewatchable because I feel like I missed a lot of cameo things or just little references because it is like I feel like the movie just goes. It doesn't really slow down that much. So I don't know if I'll rewatch it in theaters, but I'll definitely rewatch it at some point. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I really enjoyed it. Same thing you guys already said. If you don't like raunchy humor, it's not your movie. Like Crystal is never going to watch this movie. Yeah. She absolutely hates raunchy humor.
She loves raunchy humor, just not in like the superhero.
Right, exactly. Just like filthy
she
movies
likes, like,
in general.
Hangover parts 1, 2, and 3, but
100%.
Yeah.
The unrated editions. Yeah. The raunchier, the better. Yeah. But no, as far as like action's awesome. Like just having Deadpool and Wolverine fight, which you've seen in the trailers, is just cool in general, right? And I think that's what this movie had going for, is just a lot of really cool things happening. And for me, for what the movie is, like, I think it's really good. I wouldn't say that it's like you said, Jonah, it didn't save the MCU. There's a lot of plot holes. And if anything, it was more of like wow, this is a really fun one-off. I really enjoyed all the super meta humor, all the the shots that they take, and just everybody, all the jokes. All that stuff was super funny, and it was surprisingly heartfelt. I thought it had some good moments where I actually cared about what was happening, and I wasn't just like along for the ride of like, oh, funny jokes, super cool action. Like it actually was meaningful. And yeah, I think I'm kind of in between. I don't think Jonah almost convinced me that it wasn't rewatchable, but I think you're right, Mick. There's a lot of stuff in there to see again. Also, like,
all right, it's you can watch it one more time and then
you're good. Yeah,
no more
than that. But yeah, especially watching in theater, you miss things because people are laughing. So sometimes you miss little things here and there. But yeah, overall, I thought it was a really good movie. I really enjoyed my time. It was fun watching it with you guys. And I think
we're back, baby.
The best thing is just like some of the crazy cameos.
Yeah,
is like some things I never expected. Yeah. I would have never thought in a million years. Like, oh, I didn't see that one coming. So that was the fun part, is kind of like seeing. Luckily I wasn't spoiled. I did see some comments of like, wow, crazy cameos, but some of those were like, I never would have thought it would have happened.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what the movie does really good, is the cameos are unexpected and they're done well. Like, it's not just like, oh, I'm going to throw this in for this. Oh, we just threw that in. It's like, no, they actually have a purpose behind it, and there's thought behind it, which makes sense. The other thing that I liked about this is it's kind of a love letter to the Fox universe.
Oh, 100%.
And so I do like the X-Men universe. I think one of my favorite comic book movies is Days of Future Past. I think that one's amazing. So even though there were some stinkers, even though there were some stinkers, I do think there's some of the best casting has been in the X-Men franchise. So it was cool to kind of have that love letter to the Fox franchise. Let's go into spoilers, but let's give our what would you rank it, Josh?
I gotta go first.
Yeah.
Woo! Listen, I had a really good time. I'm gonna give it like a 8-9.
8-9. Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was a lot of fun.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You.
Man, I'm gonna give it a 9.3.
Wow.
9.3.
I'm shocked. I tell you, I'm shocked.
9.3.
Wow. I guess I'm the low guy. 4. 8.2. 8.2.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's.
I mean, you're wrong, but
There's nothing in here that I'm like that I see as like, oh, that was bad. You know, like
Yeah. No.
raunchy humor aside on certain things that you're like, okay.
Yeah.
But as far as the movie goes, it was like you said, it was a lot of fun. So yeah, that's our rating for it. We are going to jump into spoilers now. So you've been warned. My favorite, I had to go with my favorite cameo here.
Just right off the
the
bat.
Cavalrine.
oh, I was thinking Channing too.
No, I mean
That was the craziest cameo.
Henry Cavill as Wolverine. That was maybe my favorite part of the movie is when he's like, I got to get a new Wolverine.
Yeah.
The initial one was like comic accurate Wolverine where Hugh Jackman's tiny.
Yeah, that was freaking
That was
hilarious.
hilarious. And then you're going through and you're getting like the comic books, like him on the X,
On the X,
like
missing the hand,
missing like all that
fighting
kind of
the
stuff.
Hulk.
Fighting the Hulk, and
Yeah.
then you have the Henry Cavill. He's like, this is the guy. It's Henry Cavill. I was just like, this is perfect. And then the joke where he's like, they really mistreated you. I'm
Across
glad
the
you're
street.
here.
This just feels right.
It was just so good, and it was awesome. So that was my favorite
I'm
cameo
completely sold on a Cavill Wolverine movie. Like, bring it on.
So
Yeah.
it's the
That's it.
multiverse. Let's
Yeah,
go.
why not?
Yeah, Secret Wars, bring him in. No, that was pretty hilarious. Like, that's the one that I'm like, I would never in a million years guess that they would have put Henry Cavill in as Wolverine. Yeah, and just the setup was perfect with him like working on his bike, and he's like, wait, from behind you kind of look like. Oh my! The legends are true. The cavalry.
That would have been. That makes me think that
He's not going to be Wolverine.
no, but that he's going to be in Marvel
Oh,
sometime.
he will. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so we're just going to be jumping around because this movie it's built for just jumping around. So
It literally.
I'll talk about the weakest thing I feel this movie has is the villain. The villain to me was just weak.
Which one?
Both of them. Paradox. Because I've watched Loki season 2, I was like, how is this guy able to do this at the TVA with no one else knowing? That was bothering me. I was like, where is this? How is this guy able to do this? Because the TVA got totally like destroyed. And then,
well, they're under new management now.
well, it was just messy. Like they just need to we need somebody to kind of.
Yeah.
It was messy, and then Xavier's twin, I also felt was just kind of. I don't know. I thought she acted well, but it just felt like it was like we need a villain that has like powers. It wasn't consistent with how she. I don't know. It was just.
I got a little lost on why she was a villain
And why she was doing the stuff.
like
she
why
was doing.
she was doing the stuff she was doing. That wasn't very clear. I think another part of the movie that fell a little flat for me was the kind of, I guess, the main reason why Wade was doing all this stuff was for Vanessa, and that to me just it didn't really land. Of like, oh, he's trying to win her back. That part just didn't really.
It wasn't established very good at the beginning.
It wasn't established very well, and it just when they had the payoff of, I guess they're back together. It was just like, okay, I don't really care. Show me Hugh Jackman again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the villains were fine with me. Like I said, it was they served their purpose, and I wasn't really there to watch the villains. You know what I mean? In a lot of ways, I was like there to see Wolverine and Deadpool. I thought Paradox was fine. I thought he was funny, like in playing kind of like a bumbling idiot a little bit. But yeah, that's kind of one of the biggest thing that like kind of annoys me about it, where you just have to shut your brain off. Is like, I thought Loki was in charge of all the timelines now. Like that's what we established at the end of season 2, the God of Stories, and he's like holding all the timelines together. So how is this still happening? Like
How he's able to see that Paradox is doing this kind of stuff.
Right. They're saying that like, oh, they're not pruning timelines anymore. At least that's what Paradox says. So the TVA has changed, but it's like, how does that work with Loki basically weaving all the stories together now?
Yeah.
So it's like
They haven't thought about it.
that's one of those things that's just like you just have to shut your brain off and be like, well,
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
As someone that didn't see season 2,
It was fine with you.
Well, the problem too is though they make a direct reference to Loki season 1, episode 5 or whatever. Like, so
Yeah.
it's like so you know that
Well, season 2 wasn't out when they were filming.
but
So.
you know, but things have changed in the TVA that it has.
Yeah.
So you know that it.
Yeah.
So to me, that was the weakest thing. I thought Nice Pool was
Was awesome, dude.
Ryan Reynolds playing that the way he dies is great too. Like you can't regenerate, like all that kind of stuff. Like again, it's graphic. It's over the top, violent and gory. So if that's a problem for you, it's not going to be good. But I thought that was really
It was
funny.
pretty funny.
Johnny Storm.
Johnny Storm was great.
but
That honestly, like, I had like he played another character that totally worked.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, it's
that
Cap,
setup, yeah, was
Captain
great.
America. But yeah, seeing him back as Johnny Storm was really funny. And his character was just ridiculous the whole time.
And Gambit, Channing Tatum's Gambit was great.
So that's one of those things that I wonder if, like, what's so funny about that is that Channing Tatum was cast as Gambit, came out on stage with the Gambit shirt, and was like, "I'm Remy LeBeau,
Was that
baby."
like 2018, 2017? It was a long
it's
time
been
ago.
in development. So
And then he decided to do Magic Mike instead.
yeah, and it's been
He's
in
like, I got these
development
abs,
hell forever.
Yeah.
He like wanted to direct it to get it made. Like he was like, I'm going to direct it, like whatever it takes to get made. And so like there's all this like real world stuff tied up in it. And so to have him show up is just like amazing. But I wonder if people that don't have that background are like, who the heck is that guy? You know what I mean? Like what's Channing Tatum doing
That
here?
is a good question because we are so into the background stuff and just the nerd culture in general that we know a lot of that stuff.
Right.
That's really interesting.
Because
Someone that doesn't
Corey's
know
mom
that.
ain't gonna know.
Maybe she was like, finally I get to see Channing.
Gambit.
I've been waiting to see Channing Tatum as Remy LeBeau
And
forever.
the other
dude.
thing about it though was he looked cool. His hair was a little
His hair was a little goofy.
He looked
He
cool,
was comic accurate.
but his
Yeah, like metal.
his accent was brutal. And so I was like, is that like, because he kept making a joke about it.
Yeah.
So I was like, did they play that up?
I think
like
they
to
did
be
play
the
it up.
joke? Or
'Cause
is that actually how he was going
it
to play
was
it?
super inconsistent.
I think they definitely played it.
Like, who's your dialect coach? A minion?
Oh, yeah,
That was one of the best jokes.
That was one of the best jokes. Yeah, so that all that stuff with Gambit was sweet, and just like all the references he was making is like they're like we get to save, and he's like, you know, they never knew that I was going to be, you know, like all the references.
You guys
of, like,
never got it. I
never got a chance. Yeah. So like all that's like super like deep cut meta stuff is like was just like hilarious to me, and his fighting was amazing.
Yeah.
Like-
he looked cool. His
just like
fighting was the coolest thing. about it.
R-rated Gambit was pretty sweet, but yeah, his accent was hilarious.
Wesley Snipes shows up. Electra,
Yeah, Jennifer Garner.
Jennifer
back.
Garner, X-23.
Daphne Keane. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the cameos were really like, I think.
What
One of
does he say? He's like, I'm the only blade, and
Yeah.
I'll always
There's only going to be one
blade.
blade. That was a hilarious joke.
Yes.
Because I don't know if we've talked about it, but the Blade movie keeps losing
yeah,
directors,
that's
That's
happening.
becoming
and
the
it's
new,
probably not going to
new
happen.
Gambit movie.
So this is an interesting that happened. So over the Comic-Con weekend, they asked Jamie Lee Curtis about like the state of Marvel.
And Freaky Friday, too.
And she said, "Oh, what phase is Marvel in right now?" She said, "Trash" or something like that. Well, people like went after her online, like, "How dare you?" So she put out an apology today.
come on,
about being
dude.
like, "I'm sorry. I called Kevin Feige to apologize. I'll never do this again." Like putting out an apology. Well, Ryan Reynolds retweeted it, and he was like, "Wait, so now we have to apologize? So now we have to apologize for saying Marvel's trash?" Because in the movie,
Right.
he's like, there's jokes all the time. Where he's like, "You finally made it to Marvel. She got at a high point." You know, like all this. There's all these jokes about how Marvel sucks right now.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was funny that he's like, "Wait, now we have to apologize for saying Marvel sucks." But yeah, there's a lot of, like you said, aspects in this movie that are deep cuts, and people are going to get it. Like Gambit, people that followed the news are like, oh, we're getting a Gambit and Channing Tatum and all that kind of stuff. The Wesley Snipes joke, you know, people that follow it, which is the majority of people that are going to go watch this movie are going to get it. Some people are just going to go over their heads.
Right.
But I do appreciate that kind of stuff. What do you guys think? Because I've seen this, you know, we talked about Robert Downey Jr. And how some people have said that kind of ruins his sacrifice as Iron Man, now him becoming Dr. Doom. Other people are saying that this movie ruins Logan's sacrifice in Logan.
I mean, okay.
Because of how it starts. It starts with him basically using his dead body to like kill a bunch of people.
So I actually thought that was hilarious that he was like addressed it. Like, I know a lot of you are wondering how we're going to deal with the legacy of Logan. Well, and then he just digs up the body. You're like, I thought that was hilarious.
How
it doesn't change anything
It
for
doesn't
me.
change the movie, no.
I think what would have changed it if he was still alive.
Right. If
that,
they brought
that
him
would have
back.
been that would have been like, okay, so he didn't like he still died at the end of Logan.
And he was such an integral character. He was the anchor character for that universe.
Yeah. So here's the thing, though. So apparently in Deadpool's, where Deadpool is right now, Logan hasn't died yet.
In his new world he's in or whatever.
Right. So because they take the dates. They're like, Logan hasn't died yet. So Logan's still around. So now there's another Wolverine in that world.
Well, I wouldn't think about it too deeply.
Well, but this
I'm getting confused.
This is what they're saying.
saying.
At the end of the Marvels, the X-Men.
Oh, okay.
So Beast shows up. They're in that same, Deadpool's in that same world. So the X-Men are still alive because the date of the Logan movie is in the future. So at this time, Logan hasn't died yet.
Which world is that?
Whatever the one, whatever one they're in. And that's where Deadpool is currently. So what they're saying is now you've got, because the TVA is like, you can't have two of them in here, right? But he decides to stay anyways, right? So they're like, how is that ruins the legacy because that affects it
doesn't ruin the legacy because it's not going to matter.
A plot hole.
It's a plot hole and a pothole, like you said.
But they're saying what it's going to do is, because Kevin Feige said now the next thing is we're going to have Avengers versus X-Men. So like that, they're like, well, how there's two Logans right now. Anyways,
the answer,
that's why the multiverse sucks.
The answer is no. That's the answer.
Yeah. So
it doesn't ruin it. Yeah. It doesn't ruin his legacy. Who says he's staying there? Who says Wolverine's staying?
Do you guys think Hugh Jackman's going to do more movies as Wolverine
till he's 90?
I don't think so.
Because they did have this joke where he's like, I came back. He's like, came back once. He's like, oh, we can do more. And he's like, nope. You know, so.
Yeah.
But then he was at the party.
That is true.
I kind of hope. I thought Logan was a good send off. You know what I mean?
Now it's ruined.
The legacy's ruined.
The
dude.
legacy's ruined. You can't watch it and be like, that's a great send off. Because like, oh, he came back. Came crawling back.
But Marvel cash.
I know. See?
Yeah. I mean, I need to see Henry Cavill as Wolverine.
Yeah. Or Cyclops.
Yeah. As much as I love Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, I'm fine with, passing the mantle off to somebody else.
Yeah. Someone like Tom Hardy.
Like Daniel Radcliffe.
Yes. I was that was a cameo that I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure this is gonna happen, and then it didn't happen.
He should have been comic accurate Wolverine.
Wolverine, short enough, right?
That was a missed opportunity.
That was really funny.
Yeah, that was good. The other one I really laughed at was with all the Deadpools at the end. That was a cool action scene. The bus shot where they're just going through the bus and he's killing everybody, and then they come, and then Peter shows up.
Like,
and they're like, Peter.
Did you see how big his crotch was?
What? No, I didn't.
I noticed as well, Nick, but
it's pretty big.
But I thought that scene was pretty funny. Where they're like, every Deadpool has a Peter, and they're like, Peter. But yeah,
I think. I think all the action was cool. I completely just didn't even think about him pulling the mask on. Like I was going through the whole movie of like, oh, he's wearing the yellow suit. That's cool. And then at the end when he's like pulls
the hood up,
pulls the hood up, I was like, oh my gosh.
Well, right before he did that, I looked at my watch and I was like, man, when? I think the movie's almost over.
When's he wearing his vest?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was sick.
It was the perfect time to do it.
Yeah, and I think it looks. I don't think it was. The eyes were quite as expressive as Deadpool's were.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes it looks weird, but like overall, I was like, it looks sweet. The white eyes, him just going through wrecking dudes was like, yeah, dude, this is freaking sweet.
That's what we need.
Yeah,
that's all we've ever wanted. That was a cool thing too. When he's like, I know a lot of you guys have waited for this. He's like, so here we go. You know, that was cool. Those moments.
Or even when he first finds them and he's like he's wearing these yellow jammies. Only took 20 effing years. But yeah, just all that stuff, all the meta stuff was super, super funny.
And speaking of that, I love that. This is another heartfelt moment that I loved from the movie is why he's wearing it. Because of like for memory of the X-Men for Scott. Because they could have just made it a dumb joke of like, Deadpool, I want you to wear this because I'm wearing my thing. They did a cool reason why.
Yeah, the other one that was heartfelt was when X-23 says the thing. It's like, you were never
the
He's
right
not
guy.
that guy.
Yeah. He's like, you were never the right guy.
Yeah.
But those kind of things, it's like, that's a great line. It's a great delivery. It's not like over the top melodramatic, but it's like, it's poignant enough, when he comes out of the trunk, there you're just like that kind of stuff is just cool.
Yeah. I think all the stuff with X-23 was good. And I think it's like enhanced by the story you've already seen with Logan, of like the story that they've gone through. And then you see this other Wolverine that has, all these other issues, like just that kind of story of like taking up the mantle of being who Charles thought he was.
Right.
And I like that, how they kind of dealt with Charles too, where I know you didn't like the villain, but like when he's talking to her about like, he's like, Charles, if he knew you existed, he would have torn the world apart to find you. Yeah. And like just dealing with kind of the legacy of like Charles in that way, I thought that was a really cool way. Like, it's just a simple, like, you want to say almost throwaway line, but it like means something to like what Charles Xavier does for mutants in general. But yeah, I thought those were like some pretty cool, like heartfelt moments that were in the movie, amid all the crazy, gore and all that other stuff. Yeah. You're getting choked up, dude. Just teared up. I do think I was bummed that we didn't get James Marsden as Cyclops back. I thought we would have seen something with him.
Yeah, I thought we were going to see Halle Berry as Storm, or just like
some of the
Xavier, Gandalf, or even the Fassbenders. Like, even if it was like you see both of them show, like Fassbender and Ian McKellen show up.
Yeah, because they even mentioned like, oh, Magneto's dead or whatever. So like, I thought we would have seen at least something. Some of the funniest jokes though, I think were like the Ben Affleck related one where they're like, oh, Daredevil said, he's like, oh, I'm so sorry, and there's like, nah, that's okay.
That's all right.
That one, or even like what was the joke about Hugh Jackman's divorce?
Being divorced, like,
they're like,
he doesn't take his shirt, he's let himself go since the divorce.
You're like, dude, that was soon.
Ooh,
that was pretty soon. But yeah, just like, I think those are the funniest. Some of the funniest jokes is like the real world stuff. Like even the Disney, all the jabs at Disney were pretty funny.
Yeah.
I think you already mentioned it. Like, welcome to the MCU. You're kind of joining at a low point.
Yeah, it was good. I still think Nice Pull was probably one of my favorites. Just their interactions and how that, like, I wasn't expecting it either. Just he shows up and he's like, what? But I just thought it takes a little bit to get going. Like as far as like
it's almost like a recap.
Yeah.
It almost gives you a recap of like, oh, this is kind of what happened before. This is where we are now.
Yeah, and some of the jokes, they were funny, but at the same time was like, okay, you've done this. And like when they were talking about like you can't make references to cocaine because of Disney rules, and it kind of did that over and over again. At some point, I was like, okay, like there's other clever stuff that they could have done. I think all in all, it was, again, it's all about the cameos and the characters that nail those cameos. And even the humor with the ensemble. Obviously, Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds knock it out of the park with their dynamic. And you get multiple fights between them, which I thought was an interesting way to do it. It's like, Deadpool's super annoying. So, like, I like the fact that they both regenerate and heal. So it's just like they're just going to beat the crap
the fight in the van was really funny.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. But yeah, even like, just the reference, like the Wesley Snipes stuff, where it's like they were in Blade 3 or whatever, Trinity together. And supposedly they didn't like each other. Mm-hmm. So that's why when he's like, or they make a reference to that where he's like, I never liked you or something like that. And he's like, thought you were retired. That joke was pretty funny too. What did you say? What did you call me? But yeah, Wesley Snipes. That's another thing I was like, I never thought I'd see Wesley Snipes as Blade again.
I love the beat drop when he walks in the room.
Well, that was a great moment where it's like, how many more
who's coming
people?
In? Yeah, who's coming next? Through?
With Gambit. That was the one that just shocked me. The Gambit. Channing Tatum just killed me. And then his line delivery was just like, this is so bad, but it's so good. Oh, man. It's great. Anything else before we call it good?
I'm sure there's so much.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is like the jokes are like a mile a minute. Pretty funny jokes. But yeah, crazy cameos.
Yeah.
Lots of fun action.
I think it's the best Deadpool movie.
I haven't seen the other two, so.
Yeah, I enjoy it the most.
Yeah.
The other ones, too, I also feel are a little more, probably because they're on Fox, but I felt like the other ones were a little more like pushing the limit, like as far as raunchy and stuff like that. I think there's nudity in the first one, even, isn't there?
I don't remember.
And so that's one of the things that I felt those ones were a little more like, and this one didn't have some of the stuff that those did, which still was a little, but
yeah.
But yeah, I agree. The part of it, though, is Hugh Jackman. Like, as someone that loves Wolverine and Hugh Jackman's portrayal, it's like, come on, you can't go wrong with it. It's just on another level.
I did think, I thought the ending was cool, like their little sacrifice that they did. And I had that song stuck in my head for like, I stuck in my head all week.
I love when his shirt blows off and Deadpool's like,
yeah, I mean that was a cool moment. I thought the build up was cool, and I loved the little like tribute at the end.
Yeah,
with the Green Day.
The Fox.
That was like the perfect like encapsulation of like it's like a love letter to the Fox movies, which is like one of the reasons why we have so many superhero movies is because those were the first like really successful like repeat comic book movies where they were like cranking them out.
Yeah.
So it was like, I think it was like an appropriate, like, oh, nice little send off.
Yeah,
for the Fox movies.
Huh?
Man, that 20th Century Fox logo.
Yeah, dude, that's best joke. Best joke in all the movie.
Hilarious.
That's going to do it for this episode of the Nerdiest Podcast. Let us know if you watched Deadpool and Wolverine, what you thought about it. You can follow us on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube. This will not be on YouTube because Corey's not here and he does the video. So make sure you check this out on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, anywhere else you get podcasts. We'll be back next week. We're going to be talking about Batman the Caped Crusader next week. It dropped today. We all watched the first episode, but we're going to watch the rest of them, and we'll be talking about that next week. So make sure you check us out for that. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. See you later.
See ya.
Bye.